Welcome back to Los Angeles. I'm Adam Housley, and you're watching Tech Take. You know, in recent years, we've had a lot of disasters around the world. I mean, they're always here, but it seems like in the last few years, there have been some epic ones, including 2 major tsunamis. You had the problems, of course, with hurricanes that hit the southeastern United States, as well as an earthquake, even most recently in Northern California. So what would you do? Those first 24 hours are the most critical. Here to talk about a kit that's been put together, and about that is Allison Barrie, defense specialist, war games columnist with FoxNews.com. You've seen her work on here before, talking about technology. In this case, it has to do with how people at home can protect themselves. Allison, so surviving those first 24 hours, big deal, obviously, and there's an easy way people can do it.
Right. There's so many kits out there on the market, as you well know, Adam, designed to help people survive any sort of emergency circumstance. And this is really one of the first kits I've come across that I would fully endorse. I really love the stuff that's included in it. It's been put together by a company called Taurus, and it's called the First 24 Hours, aptly named. And it really has everything you need in it, well, pretty much everything you need in it to survive anything from, like you said, a natural disaster to even a zombie apocalypse for all those Walking Dead fans. It's got a revolver, it's got a great knife, it's got emergency signaling, it's got a fantastic flashlight, it's got a compass, it's got paracord, you name it, it's all contained in this kit.
Now, the question I have is about the revolver. Obviously, depending on which state you're in, there's all different sorts of gun laws.
Sure.
Also, which city you're in and which county. So it's not like you just order this thing and it shows up at your house. I'm sure you have to pass background checks and that kind of thing.
That's a really great point, Adam. But I'm glad you raised the revolver because I'm a fan of it. It's called its nickname is the Taurus Judge, really. And the reason why it's called that, it's compact. It's a fantastic option for people who are really just looking for immediate self-defense. It takes 2 different types of ammo, one for short distance and one for a longer distance. And it's got this nickname, the Taurus Judge, because so many U.S. judges carry it into the courtroom for self-protection should the need arise.
So it seems like this is one of those kits that goes with your food kit. So, for example, you have a kit in the garage like we do that has water and food and the ability to clarify water with there's different ways of water bottles and things you can do and that kind of thing. And this is kind of like the security kit that goes along with it.
Sure, such a good point. It doesn't include things like water cleaning tablets and stuff, which people should, of course, have at home, water supply, food supplies, things like that you touched on. This really focuses more on the tactical range, and one of the reasons why I like it, Adam, is because it's very thoughtfully put together. It really has assembled tactical professional level gear that is available to civilians, and put it all in one smart place. It's got a really great knife in it. A knife is always a really important thing to have, called the CRKT Sting knife. And a little fun factoid about it, it uses a very similar alloy to samurai swords. So couldn't get it out there. I was so excited, which, you got to love that. But it's got 2 edges on it. It's dual-edged. It's really smart and lightweight, and it's a safe, really safe, smart option. It's very versatile.
So if someone wanted, what price range are we talking? Where can people find this? Obviously, this is something that is important to protect your family, to protect your valuables, especially if you are somebody that prepared, and God forbid we have a major disaster where it's several days potentially, which people will have to be prepared for. Mm-hmm. These are things that are important. Security is just can be argued is just as important as keeping food and water on the table. But price, location, availability, give us some of that information.
Absolutely. So it will set you back a fair bit. It's for deeper pockets. It's I think $14.99, so it comes in just under $1,500. It's available on the Taurus website, and it is called the First 24. I've broken down in the online column a bit more detail at the elements because there are such fantastic elements in there for people who can't afford that price point. I really encourage them to take a look at some of the other things. Especially if you, as you touched on, if they're not so concerned about the defense aspect and the self-defense. There's some really great items in there, even simple things like paracord. There's 550 paracord in there, which means you can use that for a whole range of things, whether it's using breaking it down into its threads, the strands to create a fishing line, or whether you need to restrain someone in a more robust defense situation, or create a harness to help someone escape. That's at a much lower price point that people could find elsewhere as well. And it's a really smart thing to include at home.
All right. Allison Barrie, defense specialist, war games columnist, FoxNews.com. Obviously, for more in depth, you can find this article and many more from Allison over the last few years online, everything that has to do with not only consumers, but a lot of it has to do with our military and things you'll find eventually on the consumer front. Allison, thanks for joining us from New York.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
All right. I'm Adam Housley in Los Angeles, and you're watching Tech Take.